in. This individual then is committed to this and then is drawn to trying to turn these fantasies that they've spent so much time into a reality.
Our little house in the suburbs has become the destination for a parade of potential predators. In the first 8 hours of our investigation, 8 men show up, one after the other, from early afternoon into the evening, none of them realizing their every move is being recorded. Each man made a date on the internet and believes a minor is home alone and open to the idea of sex. Remember this man, screen name Ed in NYC? He's 34-year-old Eddie, and when he shows up at the house, he tries something none of the others did. Before he'll come into the kitchen, he comes up with a scheme to insulate himself from possible criminal charges, and he tries to get the girl to play along.
Okay, listen, just say something to me.
What do you want me to say?
I say, Rachel, you're 19 years old, right?
I'm not, though. You know I'm not.
I don't know that.
I told you I was 14. You saw it, you said text me. What are you talking about?
No. Not as far as I know. As far as I know, you're 19 years old, right?
But
Rachel, can you read between the lines?
When I walk in, Eddie admits he was trying not to incriminate himself.
My intentions are not anything, so I just want to protect myself, that's all.
But she told you on the internet she was 14.
19, she wrote me after that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what.
On the internet?
Yes.
You want to stick with that story?
That's what I thought she wrote.
You want to see the transcript?
I'm sure you have it.
The fact that Eddie is so cunning doesn't surprise law enforcement experts.
Not only are they not stupid, but they're probably above average intelligent. They can be a wide variety of individuals, but a lot of them are well-educated individuals.
We'll get back to Eddie later. There are more men on the way. The second day of our investigation turns out to be just as busy as the first. 8 hours, 8 men. Some come looking not for girls, but for boys. This is 35-year-old Craig, screen name 34 going on 17. He's here to meet a 14-year-old boy.
Am I going to jail?
You're not going to jail.
I know, it was, as you can tell, it wasn't something I really, I was just going to hang out. I really wasn't going to do anything, to be honest with you. We talked, I know I said things on there, but I've never done anything like that, and I was just bored.
He sure didn't seem bored earlier online when he tried to coax a teenager into the shower.
No, shower with me. I think I got to shower, me too, so let's shower together.
I know. You know what I said.
You don't understand, though. I mean, if you're the parent of a kid...
It's completely wrong. I know it is. Even just to even talk like that. I know, believe me, I know that this is stupid.
So many men start showing up for the dates they made online, a kind of traffic jam develops. This guy heads to the back door, looks inside, sees another man is already there, and decides to make a run for it. But 20-year-old Esteban, known online as Skatey Pie, walks right into the kitchen and waits, although not for long. I asked him about his online chat with who he thought was a young girl.
Why don't you tell me exactly what you talked about?
About sex.
About sex?
Yeah.
We cut short our interview because while we were talking to Esteban, yet another man is at our door. We asked Esteban to wait in the basement.
Come with me for a second.
In 2.5 days, 18 men walked down this driveway thinking they were going to meet a 12, 13, or 14-year-old home alone. All of them chatted online, often talking graphically about sex, spoke on the phone with a decoy, sent a photo, and made a date to meet at the house. But almost all the men said they weren't really here to have sex, and most shared yet another explanation.
I've never done anything like that.
How many times have you done this?
Never before in my whole life.
Do you do this often?
No.
How often do you do this sort of thing?
No, not very often at all.
Have you ever done this before?
No.
Do you do this often?
Never. I've never done this, and never will I do it again. I don't know what even came over me to come do this.
But perhaps the most creative excuses came from 23-year-old Mike, known online as MUXACB 2003. He traveled from another state to meet a 14-year-old. At first, Mike says he's at the wrong address.
This isn't 554?
No, this is not 554.
Then he says someone was impersonating him online.
I have no idea what this is.
Either way, he says it's all a big mix-up.
Explain to me exactly how you ended up here. I mean, you just walked up the sidewalk and walked into this house because what? You thought it looked like a nice house?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you understand why that story doesn't make sense?
After a few minutes, Mike decides to come clean.
Because I wasn't thinking.
You weren't thinking.
No.
So all that stuff you told me earlier is a lie.
Yes.
You want to tell me the truth now?
Yes.
What happened?
He admits he came here hoping for sex with a 14-year-old.
Did you bring condoms today? You did.
Yeah.
What does that say about your intent?
It was wrong. It was stupid. I was immature.
Remember, so far, these men don't realize they're being videotaped, much less that they'll turn up on Dateline.
I am a correspondent for Dateline NBC.
But they're about to find out.
You can't put me on TV.
Yes, we can. This guy, too. He's a New York City fireman, also caught on the web.
The reality is this. You had a conversation with somebody who said they were 14 years old. It was a very explicit conversation. You got in your car and you drove by the house where she said she was home alone with no parents.
Right. When our Dateline hidden camera investigation, Dangerous Web, continues. We now return to Dangerous Web. Here again is Stone Phillips.
Returning to our story, you've seen how 18 men, after trolling through chat rooms looking for young teenagers, showed up for what they thought was going to be a date with a minor. They're about to find out their date is with Dateline. A reminder, some of what you're about to see and hear is graphic and explicit. Here again, Chris Hansen.
Just come in and sit at the counter.
In 2.5 days, most of these men likely broke state and federal laws by coming to this house to sexually violate a 12, 13, or 14-year-old.
What's going on? Nothing much. Yeah.
Some talked probably because they thought I was with law enforcement, although I never pretended to be a cop.
Well, you want to tell me why you really came over?
I really wanted to just take him to the movies. In fact,
But none had any idea our hidden cameras were going to expose them before a national audience. When we told them, most headed for the door, like Steve, the married man with children.
I'm Chris Hansen of Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on grown-ups
Okay.
on the internet.
Go ahead.